Hi everyone, this is Irfan Vikram, Business Study Lecturer from Don Bosco PU College, Chitradurga. This is our sixth session, sixth class. If we are seeing about the last class, if we are going back to last class, we learned about the topic called coordination. And then after learning the meaning of coordination, we learned about features of coordination. In the meaning of coordination, we saw that management includes 5 functions and they are planning, organizing, directing, controlling and staffing. This coordination starts from the planning function itself. This coordination starts from the planning function itself. Manager plans what are the activities to be undertaken in the organization. And later he decides to arrange the 3 resources: natural resources, physical resources and human resources. And after arranging the 3 types of resources, manager goes forward and creates different departments in the organization. And after creating different departments in the organization, what does he do? He will select the employees and posts the employees to different departments he has created based on their qualification, skills, talent, experience and work history, their achievement history, etc. Now after posting the employees to different departments, what does he do? He will divide the activity that he has decided in the planning function. He will divide the whole activity different smaller parts and assigns to different departments he has created. For example, he has decided to produce 10,000 leather bags. Under this project will be divided into smaller parts and assigned to different departments. For example, purchasing raw material will be assigned to purchase department. Advertising about the product produced will be assigned to marketing department. Motivating, training the employees, those works related to human resources will be assigned to HR department. So here the work will be divided into smaller parts and assigned to different departments. And next, the real work starts. Here manager makes sure that all the departments carry on their responsibilities, and I have assigned them work and responsibilities. They have to carry out their responsibilities without fail. If not, I will take corrective measures based on the reasons I get. By taking corrective measures, I make the departments to work properly. I make the departments to carry out their responsibilities, and thereby I will be helping the organization to attain its goal. This is what coordination we discussed in the last class, that is in the 5th session, right? Okay, and also we discussed about the features of coordination. There we found that the first feature of coordination is integrates. Coordination integrates group efforts. Here the manager, the 6th step, manager will be making sure that all the departments carry on their responsibilities properly. If not, what he will do? He will take the corrective measures and make the particular department which is not following the responsibilities, he will make that particular department to carry on its responsibilities. Then he will be integrating the efforts of different departments. HR department, purchase department, sales department, marketing department. He will be integrating the group efforts and helping the organization to achieve its goal. Okay. In the second feature, we saw that management paves way for the unity of action. I mean, here we saw that when the organization undertakes coordination function, there will be unity of action. I mean, though the nature of works undertaken by different departments is different, though the nature of works undertaken by different departments is different, the goal of all the departments will be same, that is attaining group goals or organizational goal. Here we can find unity of action. And next feature we saw in the last class was management is all purposing. I mean, universally applicable to all the organizations in the world, irrespective of their nature, size, etc. And next feature we saw that next feature of coordination we saw was management is a continuous process. The same way, coordination is a continuous process. Okay. I mean, coordination has to be undertaken continuously in the organization. The moment the organization stops coordination function, the fall of the organization starts. Fine. And last feature we saw that it is the responsibility of all the managers to follow the coordination function in the organization, because it is the responsibility of all the managers to help the organization to achieve the organizational goal. How? By undertaking coordination function. Right? Okay, these are the topics we learned, or these are the concepts we learned in the last class, that is 5th session. And today we can start the session with a topic called importance of coordination. Importance of coordination. Importance of coordination. I mean, if organization undertakes coordination function in the organization, what are the benefits or advantages that organization will be getting? We will be discussing about the advantages of coordination function in the organization. Right? Okay. The first advantage or first benefit that organization gets when it undertakes coordination function is growth and expansion. See, in the earlier class I told you, for the features of coordination and importance of coordination, we will be going back to the meaning. So, here I will write what are the steps followed in coordination function, or I will write in detail what is coordination exactly. Okay. First, what do they do? In the planning function, they will decide what activity should be undertaken. In the planning function, they decide what activity to be undertaken. Right? Next, what manager will do in the coordination function? He will undertake organizing function. Organizing function. I mean, here he will arrange financial resources, physical resources, and human resources. Right? He will arrange 3 types of resources. First, he will arrange financial resources, and with the help of financial resources, he will buy physical resources, and to handle or to work with these 2 resources, he will go for human resources. Right? departments. In the organization, by using physical and financial resources, he will create different departments, and different departments may be human resources department, physical resources department, purchase department, sales department, marketing department, then technical department, etc. These are the common examples of departments in the organization. Next, you will select the employees through staffing. You will select the employees. After selecting, you will post all the selected employees to different departments. Here he has created different departments. You see, here assume that he has created different departments: marketing department, HR department, purchase department, sales department, etc. Fine. After selecting the employees, he will post the selected employees to different departments based on their qualification, skills, talent, their work history or experience, etc. Fine. For example, people those who have completed their MBA in marketing will be posted to marketing department. People those who have done MBA in HR will be posted to HR department. See, in that way, employees will be posted to different departments. So, first step is over. Next, what they will do? They will take up the activity that has been decided in the planning function. For example, for project is producing 10,000 leather bags. Producing 10,000 leather bags. What they will do? They will divide the whole activity. They will divide the whole activity and assign to different departments. Here, manager or superior or higher authority, whoever may be, he will divide the whole activity into different parts and assign to different departments. For example, as I told you in the earlier classes, under this project, production of 10,000 leather bags. This project will be divided into smaller parts. For example, purchasing raw material will be posted to or assigned to purchase department. Collecting information about the targeted customer, their buying capacity, their approximate numbers, then their likes and dislikes, what are the features they may expect from the product. All the information from the market will be collected by the marketing department. That work will be assigned to marketing department. Next, handling of the employees, handling their various problems and motivating them, directing them, then training them, giving feedback, correction, all the things will be assigned to again HR department. Then after production, selling the products produced will be assigned to sales department. So in this way, the whole work will be divided into smaller parts and assigned to different departments based on their work nature. Fine? Okay, here the real work starts. After assigning the work to different departments, what does he do? What does the manager or proprietor will do? See, he will make sure that all the departments carry on their responsibilities. I have given them work. I have given them responsibilities. They have to just comply with the rules and regulations and complete their responsibilities on time. Okay, if he finds any one department is not carrying out its responsibilities, he will take corrective measures based on the reasons he finds. By taking corrective measures, he will make a particular marketing department to carry on its responsibilities, and thereby he will integrate in the group efforts and helping the organization to achieve its goal. So this is all about coordination. Okay, now come to importance of coordination. Importance of coordination. Okay. The first importance or advantage of coordination is growth and expansion. Here this first statement says that if an organization undertakes coordination functions in the organization or in the institution or in the factory, it will be able to get the advantage of growth and expansion, or it will be able to attain the goal of growth and expansion. How we can see? See here again we will be going back to beginning while explaining about the first importance. See, manager will decide the activity, will arrange for three resources, then he will create different departments, right? Then what does he do? He will select employees and divide them according to or post them to different departments. Then he will assign the work to different department, and last he will make sure that all the departments carry out their responsibilities. This is the core work. Core work starts here. I mean, he will make sure that all the departments carry out their responsibilities. Fine. Say, you know one thing, when all the departments in the organization carry out their responsibilities without any problem, without any delay, or without any confusion, no one can stop the organization attaining its goal, that is growth and expansion. Assume that there is no coordination function in the organization. These steps will not be followed. These steps will not be followed. I mean, no division of employees can be posted to different departments. No division of work and assigning to different departments. No external force. I mean, this core work will not be followed. I mean, there will be no external force to the employees to carry out their responsibilities. It is common. This is common human tendency that if there is an external force, we will forget our responsibilities. Sometimes we will become lazy. Then all the departments will not carry out the responsibilities. Some will do, some will not do. And at the end of the day, organization will not be able to reach its goal. When there is coordination, all the division of employees will take place, division of work will take place, and works, different parts will be assigned to employees, and manager will make sure that all the employees carry out their responsibilities. When all the employees carry out their responsibilities, or when all the departments carry out their responsibilities, automatically the organization will reach its goal, that is growth and expansion. That's all. Fine. Next, importance of importance of coordination is work functional differentiation. Functional differentiation. I mean, this statement says that when the organization undertakes coordination function, this will be able to do functional differentiation, and organization will get benefit of functional differentiation. We shall see how this functional differentiation will be attained and what are the benefits of functional differentiation. Okay, see again we will be going back there. Here, staffing will be done, employees will be selected, and they will be posted to here departments will be created. Next, they will select the employees and post them to different departments based on their qualification, skills, talents, etc. Then functional differentiation will take place. I mean, when the work is divided into smaller parts and assigned to different departments. Purchasing of raw material will be assigned to purchasing department. Advertising about the product will be assigned to marketing department. Handling the queries of the HR will be assigned to HR department. departments. These all will take place in the coordination function. I mean, there the real work functional differentiation will take place. Okay. Now, organization attain functional differentiation, and what are the benefits you can see? When the organization attains functional differentiation, there will be no confusion, no overlapping or duplication of work, no confusion among the employees, because here work is divided and assigned in different departments. No confusion. Manager can be damn sure that which work is assigned to which department or which employee. Easily he can follow. It will be easy for him to catch the department if the particular work is not completed. If the particular work is not completed on time or delayed, can follow the particular department easily, because he knows which work is assigned to which department. If there is no functional differentiation, we never know that which work is assigned to which employee or which department, and if that particular work is not completed, we cannot ask any departments here, because that is not assigned to a particular department. This work is assigned to you, so you should do. This will not take place. The coordination function is not undertaken in the organization. Right? Okay. The next feature is specialization. I mean, this statement says that when the coordination is followed in the management, this specialization benefit will be attained in the organization. Fine? What is specialization? I mean, work is done in case of specialization. Work is done by the experts or specialists. Fine? Okay, this will take place when the coordination is undertaken the organization. Fine? Okay, we can see where it will be implemented. See, here departments will be created, then employees will be selected and posted to different departments based on their qualifications, skills, talents, etc. Then the work will be divided and assigned to different departments. Their specialization takes, their functional differentiation takes place. Okay, when the work is divided into smaller parts and assigned to different departments, their specialization will take place. Assume that advertising about the product produced will be assigned to marketing department. That particular work assigned will be completed with less errors, with higher quality, because the people in the marketing department are experts in the field of advertisement. For example, one more example is handling the queries of employees. That will be assigned to HR department here, and that particular work will be completed with less errors. I mean, that particular work will be done by experts, because people in the HR departments are experts or specialists in the human resource field. Fine. So this is all about the importance of coordination. Okay, here your first chapter gets over. Here your first chapter gets over. Okay, in the next session we shall start the second chapter, that is principles of management. The second chapter is principles of management. See, before starting our second chapter, we can just recapitulate about the topics in the first chapter we have learned in the sixth sessions or 6 sessions. Right? Okay. The first topic we learned in the management is meaning of management. Meaning of management. And the second topic we learned was features of management. And the third topic we learned was objectives of management. And next we learned that importance of management. And next we learned that management as an art. And next we learned management as a profession. Next we learned management as a science. And next we learn levels of management. And next the last topic we learned was functions of management. Then we learned about the coordination. See, in the meaning of management, we learned that management is nothing but getting work done from the employees just to attain the organizational goal. And we saw in the features of management, we saw that management is goal-oriented process, and management is multidimensional, management is continuous process. Then we also saw that management is group activity. Then in the third topic, we saw that, in the objectives of management, we saw that management has got three major objectives, and they are organizational objectives, social objectives, and personal objectives. And here we also learned that unless and until organization achieves its organizational objective, it cannot go forward towards the social and personal objectives. And next, in the next importance of management, we came to know that management helps the organization to reach its goal, to attain its group goals. And by helping the organization to attain its goal, management also helps the organization to attain its social and personal objectives. And in the next, management as an art, we try to match the features of art to the features of management, and we prove that management as an art. And next, the management as a profession, we try to match the features of profession to the features of management, and we prove that management as a profession. And here also, the management is a science. We try to match the features of science to the features of management, and we prove that management is a science. And next, in the levels of management, we learned that there are three major levels: top level management, middle level management, and operational management. Okay, fine. There are three levels of management. Next, in the functions of management, we came to know that there are five major functions: planning, organizing, directing, controlling, and staffing. And the last topic we learned in the management chapter was coordination function, which is discussed in the 6th session. Okay, fine. And after that, under the coordination function, we learned features of coordination and importance of coordination. Here, your first chapter gets over. Fine. Okay, now we shall pass on to the next chapter, that is principles of management. In this session, I will give just introduction about the principles of management. I will give just introduction about the principles of management. Okay, what is principle? What is principle? See, as we discussed in the earlier class, in the earlier topic, management as a profession and management as a science and management as a profession, we came to know that in all the fields, principles are given by philosophers and thinkers. In the same way, in the management field, many principles are given by many thinkers and philosophers like F.W. Taylor and Henry Fayol. Right? Okay, now we should come to know what is principle. See, to be very simple, principle is nothing but basic fact. Basic fact or general truths. nothing but basic fact or general truth. Why a principle is considered as basic fact or general truth? Why it is considered so? Because these principles are not given just for the sake of giving randomly. These principles always will be based on the experimentations. Experiences and tests. See, after so many experimentations, after considering many persons' experiences, after conducting many tests, these principles will be formed or established. So, these principles will be considered as basic fact or called as general truth. Fine? One more thing is, these principles guide the managers to solve the problems in the organization. They will provide the solutions for the managers to solve the problems in the organization. For example, we will take example principle subordination of individual interest to general interest. It is the principle given by Henry Fayol. Subordination of individual interest to general interest. See, this is a principle given by Henry Fayol. This principle is a basic fact of general truth because this principle is again based on experimentations, experiences and tests. So it is considered as a basic fact or general truth. See, this principle provides guidelines to the manager to take decisions or to solve the problems in the organization. Like for example, assume that there are clashes among the individual goals in the organization. There are clashes among the goals of the individuals working in the organization. Some individuals will be having goal of getting more salary. Some will be having goal of getting appreciation or recognition in the organization. Some will be having the goal of getting promoted to next level. So on, right? Or each and every individual working in the organization will be having their personal goal. And often clashes will take place among those personal or individual goals. Their manager can take the guidelines or can use this principle to solve the problems. Fine? How? See, this principle says that unless and until we attain the organizational goal, we cannot attain our individual goals. For example, when the organization gets growth and expansion, that's the common goal. I told you in the earlier class, growth and expansion is the common goal of all the organizations in the world, right? See, when the organization attains this goal, when the organization becomes more and more bigger, the old employees will be promoted because new employees will get in, right? When the new employees get in, the old employees will be promoted to next level. Fine? And when the old employees are promoted to next level, they will get promotion. When they get promoted to next level, their salary will be increased. When they get more salary, their standard of living will be increased. In this way, you can convince the employees by using this principle. Fine? And one more example is that assume that there are more confusions or duplication of work in the organization. This problem can be solved by the manager with the help of principle given by Henry Fayol, that is unity of command or unity of command. This principle says that there should be only one boss to give instructions or to give orders or to guide the employees or to train the employees. Okay, with the help of this principle, we can solve the problem of duplication of work or overlapping of work or confusions in the organization. Okay, in the next session, we can continue the second chapter, that is principles of management.